All right, so just to give an update here on the XJ 1-ton swap, what I've done right here is we've removed the spring perch, the stock spring perch right here, cut it off, and I'm installing a Teraflex speed bump from a JK, and then there's a sleeve right there that will be mounted in on that. Additionally, I'm working on some frame stiffeners, Barnes 4-wheel drive frame stiffeners, but there will be some modifications that we'll need to make inside the engine bay on this. So you'll see down here my box for my air filter was sitting originally right down here, and so we cut a hole through the fender so that we could get that bump stop up through the bottom there. I'll need to make some additional adjustments over here where the overflow for the antifreeze is at. I'll probably just make some brackets and move that out of the way, but we'll get some good video on how we're pulling out and cutting off the passenger side. So this just kind of gives you a preview of how the driver's side is looking. We've pulled the axle out. This is the Dana 30 low pinion axle. I've had a rough country 1-ton steering installed on there. Right now we're running 35-inch tires with 2-inch spacers on each side. Outside to outside, that axle is running 79 inches about. Over here we've got the Dana 60 prepped and ready to install. I just want to get those frame stiffeners and whatnot in there and ready to go. This thing is massive. So it's a Dana 60 high pinion. We're running a Yukon locker, zip locker, air locker, with a Barnes 4-wheel drive axle truss specific to the XJ. We're also doing the 1-ton steering there from Barnes 4-wheel drive. I've got power stop brakes, rotors and calipers that we'll install. We're also running 40-inch Cooper Discover STT Pros with 17-inch KMC wheels with a worn hub, manual locking hub. So Kason's been helping me out with this. We're actually going to take everything. I got all of my Christmas stuff right here, but we're going to take everything that's under my Jeep as far as axles, tires, spacers, etc., and we're going to put them under his Jeep. We've got a rough country kit that I got last year that we're going to install a 6.5-inch lift on his and just move everything over. So we'll get some video, try to do some explaining as we go along, try to get a little more content, and hopefully you guys enjoy. All right, guys, we've got this whole area prepped and ready to go for our, I guess, the big plate for the frame stiffener from Barnes 4-wheel drive. So one thing that I did is on this plate, I cut this section out, which had this section go underneath. The reason I did that is because right here is where the old factory upper control arm sat, and so Barnes in the instructions says that if you're running factory upper control arms, you cut this section out and then you can weld this on. I have obviously cut mine out because I'm running a long arm kit. The reason I did that is really because I'm lazy. I didn't want to drill out these plug welds and get this plate off from the old bracket. And so after I cut that, that fits in there nicely. So I've taken the flat disc, I've cleaned this area up. I've gone along kind of these edges where it's a little bit harder with a wire brush to clean that up, as well as up here, so that our factory, or our new perch for the Teraflex bump stop receiver goes. So I just clean that up, make sure that's pretty flush in there, so it sits flush, so it's not angled one way or another. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Duplicolor prep spray, take it, clean this area up, and then I'm going to take some weld through primer so that we can prevent any future rust or anything, so that we can avoid that. I'm also going to prime the back side of the plates that I'm putting in there, just so that we again get out any rust or prevent any rust. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. We'll go ahead and start prepping this up and getting it cleaned up so that we can prime it. This is how we currently sit tonight. As you can see, I've welded a couple of the plates on from Barnes 4-wheel drive for the frame stiffeners. So now I'm moving on to the Teraflex perch mount here. So we'll get this mounted in, burned in, and then we should be, I'm about to a point, at least on this front end, I don't know what I'm going to do up here yet, to where we can move on to the passenger side. So we'll get this burned in, see how it goes. It's coming along. I'm still trying to refine my welding skills, but I've only been welding for, I don't know, about 6 months now. So just learning, but this is how we're coming along. Alright, so this is how we currently sit. I've got a couple of these plates for the Barnes 4-wheel drive frame stiffeners burnt in. I've got this section forward to do, but I wanted to get this perched and burned in and ready to receive this speed bump. So how this works is this speed bump slides right into that sleeve. I take this little ring and I drill the hole all the way through, and I'll take this ring, set it on over the top, tighten it, and it'll sit right in there. The cool thing about these is that they've got these 3 different spacer rings to adjust the height depending on your lift. So I could slide one of these sleeves on here so it sits a little bit lower, so I've got more room for the bump to hit my axle. What I'm going to do is I've got some hockey pucks that I will drill holes through and attach to my lower perch on my axle, so that I can also use those to adjust the height on these as well. So I'm really excited. This is coming together. That's how it'll sit. When I decide the exact height, I'll get some epoxy on here just to prevent, you know, some road noise or whatnot, and it'll help this sit in there snug. We'll tighten it down, and that's how it'll sit. So this is coming together really nicely. I think I'm to the point where I can start working on the passenger side, and we can decide how we're going to adjust things inside the engine bay to receive the other speed bump. So hopefully by the end of this week we'll get that other side done. Moving on to the passenger side, just giving a view here of what I need to do in order for the inner part of the engine bay to receive the bump stop. So I've got to pull this out. I'll probably move it out or create a bracket that'll extend it out this way so that I can drill up underneath and get in there. So I'll show you passenger side. So I'll pull out this bolt, just kind of pull everything out, take the shocks out. We'll cut off the perch, and then I'll drill up through here. It'll take a little bit of work. Once I get that done, I'll prep all of this, prime it so that we can weld and burn in the frame stiffeners, and then hopefully by, I don't know, Thursday, Friday this week, I can start sliding that 1-ton Dana 60 under here. So just a quick update. So this is where we currently stand. I have cleaned up and painted the driver's side inner fender. I've used this Rust-Oleum rubberized undercoating in the past, and I've had good luck with it. It's been pretty durable. I've actually sprayed it on the inside of these fenders. I had originally sprayed that perch with this Skillet, and I actually sprayed my front axle with it, and for what I paid for it, I don't think it's worth it. I don't know if I'm not prepping the area correctly or what. I tried to clean everything up really well, but it was rubbing off this perch. So I said bag that, and I went with this Rust-Oleum, and like I said, I've had good luck with it. So got this side all painted pretty much. It just needs to dry, and then we can start mounting the shocks and speed bump in there, and bring the axle over. Over here on the passenger side, I've got everything cut out primed, and it's just drying. Really, I don't know if I might be brave enough to go ahead and weld those stiffeners on there. So as you can see, drilled right up through there, and it should fit in there nicely. I've got the plates here primed, ready to go. So I'm hoping by the end of tonight I can have everything prepped, ready to install that big boy tomorrow. So we're making a lot of progress tonight. Okay, I've been trying to figure out how much bump stop to run in order to basically save the shocks and not rub into the fender with the tires. I've got enough clearance underneath here, and everywhere else looks pretty good. And so if I run the Teraflex bump stop plus 3 hockey pucks, that gives me about 2 inches right there, which I think is safe. So yeah, it's just trial and error. I hope that that's gonna be okay and that I can even get that in there once I've got the coils on there. But we're coming right along. Axle's mounted. I've mocked in the Notch Customs fender flare, but I think that's gonna give me what I need. But it's an exciting night. This is about 5 months in the making. Started in August, building this front axle. So we're getting there, slowly but surely.